Today.
And we're back live to Audley Harrison's training camp as he prepares for his fight with David Haye in just 12 days' time.
And we'll be back live to Audley Harrison's training camp as he prepares for his fight with David Haye in just 12 days' time.
Just 12 days to go until Audley Harrison and David Haye go head-to-head in the ring. Audley Harrison's been put through his paces in preparation for that fight. Let's go back now live to Harrison's training camp and join Roger Clark. Roger.
Yeah, thank you. Join us just as Audley Harrison starts warming up to the Rocky theme. It is quite a rocky story, his journey from the amateurs, and finally 10 years after winning Olympic gold, he gets his shot at the world title on November the 13th. But he's just having a little stretch now in the gym and the ring for the first time, and I'm joined by Spencer Oliver, the former European super bantamweight champion, Sky Sports pundit as well. And Spencer, you've known Audley for quite a while now, and you've had a look at him this morning, doing his interviews and so on. How does he look to you?
Listen, he looks tremendous condition, mentally and physically. Audley's in tremendous shape. I mean, as you said there, I've known him for a number of years, and this is probably the best I've seen him. I mean, he knows this is his big opportunity. He's been waiting a long time. We've seen the career of Audley Harrison. We've seen the ups, we've seen the downs. But I mean, he says it's his destiny, and he certainly seems like he's in tremendous shape.
And at this point, we know he's done his training in Big Bear, but at this point, with what, 13 days, 12 days to go before the fight, what's going through a boxer's mind? Are you just sort of chomping at the bit to get in the ring and get fighting?
Well, certainly, yeah. I think a lot of the hard work's been done. He still tells me there's still some work to be done. He's brought his 2 sparring partners over. He's still got another week sparring with them. He says to me that's the last bit of fine-tuning, but I mean, the training camp, his brother Terry tells me, has gone tremendously well, and I think that, you know, we're in for a good Audley Harrison performance here.
And at this stage, he's just limbering up in the ring. We can take a look at him there. What can we expect to see today? Is he just really keeping himself loose? What sort of session is this likely to be?
Yeah, I think that we're just going to, we're going to see him doing a little bit of shadow boxing, a little bit of pad work, and just showing us a little glimpse of what sort of condition he's in. I mean, you can see him there. If you take a look at him, he's in tremendous shape. He just had his top up, his abs are out, so he's obviously worked very, very hard for this. He knows it's his last shot.
And we're here at the gym where he was an amateur. He won the Olympic gold out of this gym as an amateur, but his professional career, it hasn't gone smoothly. You've known him all the way through those years. Does he need credit really for his perseverance alone?
Well, listen, the perseverance for that alone, I mean, any fighter would tell you. I mean, he's had his ups and downs, Audley, winning the Olympic medal, and then, and really going for a roller coaster of a professional record, and losing a couple of real bad fights. Michael Sprott comes to mind, and I mean, he showed, grit and determination, and he stuck at it, and here he is, and fighting for the world heavyweight title. It just goes to show you, if you stick at it and you're a true believer, then your dreams can come true.
Did you believe, when you knew him all those years ago and you've known him since the amateur days, did you look at him then and think this is a potential world champion, world title contender?
Well, Audley's always had, he's always had the style. He's been, a big southpaw heavyweight, very fluent, very articulate in and out of the ring. So, you always knew that the potential was there, and he was destined for big things. And winning that Olympic gold medal, everybody just thought then the writing was on the wall. He was going to go out there, 3 years' time, win a world title, but it never happened like that. It's never quite panned out for him like that. Now his opportunities arose.
He's been fighting heavyweights. He's fought in this division all the way through his career. David Haye comes up. He's a cruiserweight who's come up and only had a couple of fights at heavyweight. Do you think Audley would have had to have adapted his training to fight against that smaller, potentially quicker man?
Well, the interesting thing about this fight is, Audley and David Haye go back a long way. They were friends back in the amateur days. They even used to room together, so they know each other inside out. So, this is going to be a very difficult contest to call because they know each other so well. So Audley knows the things that he's got to adapt to. He knows what he's got to do. I mean, for me, I think you're going to look at David Haye will be the aggressor and Audley will be the one looking to counterpunch with that straight left hand through the middle.
We've seen Audley all day today, and he's been very, very calm, very relaxed. And we saw when the fight was first announced, there's a lot of animosity between the two, and David Haye's even come out and said perhaps he stepped out of line. But do you think that the genuine animosity is there, and Audley appears almost the calmer of the two going into this?
Yeah, definitely. I think Audley's, rattled David a little bit. He's talking about this knockdown with Tony Thompson. Did it happen? Did it not happen? And I think that sort of thing is, that's getting in the fighter's head. That's getting inside the fighter's head. So Audley's doing very well, as far as that as far as that goes, he's doing really well. But Audley himself is mentally as stable as I've ever seen him.
We're seeing him, he's in the ring on his own at the moment, but he'd have had his coach, his trainer Shadid Saluki with him through all the time. He's coached a world title winner before, a heavyweight world title winner. Will that experience count in his corner?
Definitely. You know, he knows what it takes to bring his fighter to and get his fighter to that level. So yeah, that definitely helps. I mean, the camp that Audley's got wrapped around him at the moment is second to none. It is top class, and that's what makes this fight even more intriguing.
And beyond this, if we can look beyond the fight, he's 39 years old. He's always said it's his destiny to be the world champion. But is there more in Audley Harrison, do you think? Because he did start late, didn't he?
Well, he did start late, yes. But I mean, Roger, I mean, you know yourself, at 39 years of age, he knows that this is his one last chance. And that's why I think you may see a different Audley, you know, come November 13, because he realises this is his last chance. There's no more chances. So, you know, I think that he realises that.
Okay, well, thank you very much for now. Spencer Oliver there, just running the rule over Audley Harrison. We've seen him doing his limbering up. We're hoping he's going to get on the pads a little bit later on. We'll be back here live on Sky Sports News.
Thanks very much, Roger. Well, you can see the big fight. Oh.
Audley Harrison in the ring, being put through his paces in preparation for his WBA heavyweight title with David Haye. A week on Saturday, we can cross live to Harrison's training camp and to Roger Clark. So, Roger, what are you up to?
Yeah, welcome back to the Repton Boxing Club, where we've seen Audley Harrison. He's had a bit of a limber up, and now we're getting a first chance to look at him on the pads, and Spencer Oliver has been casting his eye over him. Spencer, we've seen him in the ring for a little bit. You've been impressed with what you've seen?
Yeah, certainly. Looks very relaxed. As I said, when I saw him limbering up, he looked relaxed and focused, and even more so now, you know, just going for a light workout, just putting the shots together, and we'll see him stepping it up in the next 2 or 3 minutes or so. But from what I've seen so far, certainly looks impressive.
Well, we can take a wander over to the ring now, Spencer, and take a look at him. He's hitting the pads in there. Well, the most notable thing really will be the fact that obviously he's a southpaw, and David Haye hasn't had a lot of experience against southpaws. Only one fight, and that didn't last very long. How big a factor is that going to be?
Roger, I can tell you, speaking from a fighter's point of view, it's very difficult to fight a southpaw as it is Audley Harrison. Audley Harrison loves to throw that straight left hand through the middle, like we saw in his last fight against Michael Sprott that really got him out of trouble. And we see him practicing it here on the pads. That left hand really is the key factor in this contest against David Haye.
And you mentioned how lean he was looking before. He was looking in good shape. He's fighting against a smaller, lighter guy. Might it have been advisable to perhaps keep a bit of bulk and play that to his advantage?
No, I think it's just a case of with Audley, he's very athletic. He's built very athletically, and I think that keeping him trim will keep the speed, keep the sharpness, and that's what he's going to need against David Haye, who's explosive himself, loves throwing fast combinations himself. So Audley needs that speed, so he needs to be as trim as possible.
It's difficult to tell from this workout, but do you feel that he'll have enough speed in the legs around the ring? Of course, he's 39 years old. He's probably not as quick and sprightly as he was when he won the Olympic gold, but do you think he's got enough in the legs to handle David Haye?
Well, this is what remains to be seen, and this is the excitement we're looking forward to come November 13. I mean, Audley goes back a long way with David Haye. As I've already said, they go back a long way. So Audley knows David Haye inside out, vice versa. That's what makes this contest so intriguing. I mean, at 39 years of age, can he do it? We will only find that out on November 13. But from what we've seen in the build-up so far, he looks very relaxed. The speed looks good, and he looks very mobile.
And David Haye, the smaller man, the nimbler man, and so on, as we've said. In terms of the sparring, we've seen him on the pads there. But what will he be doing in the sparring? Will he be fighting against those younger, smaller, quicker men?
Well, he's brought a variety of sparring partners over with him. He's done most of his sparring in the Big Bear, where he's got the tool of heavyweights and the cruiserweights for the speed. So he's covered every aspect, and so I'm sure the preparation. I spoke to his brother Terry earlier on. Told me the preparation's gone spot on. There's still some more sparring to be done, but they're pleased with camp. They said it's the best camp that Audley Harrison's ever had.
How does he go about beating David Haye, do you think? Do you think it's a 12 round, or do you think, he talks about when he lands that left hand, David Haye won't have experienced anything like it?
Well, I know for a fact that Audley would have trained for a 12 round fight. Anyone in their right mind will train for a 12 round fight. You don't look to get the fight over. If the fight ends early, then that's a bonus. But I think Audley's going to look. David's going to start fast. He's going to come in. He's going to be looking for the big right hand. And Audley, we know he's an excellent counter puncher, especially with that left hand. We've seen it so many times before, and I think that may be the game plan. That Audley just waits for David to come on and looks to counter him with that straight left hand through the middle.
we've seen in the past Audley with he's got that reach advantage, but sometimes he can almost just pour away with that right jab. Do you think it's going to be crucial that he really snaps that off, not just once but in twos as well?
Well, Audley's had a tendency in the past to switch off. We've seen that in fights before. We saw that against Michael Sprott when he got knocked out. He can't afford to do that with David Haye, who's very explosive, very sharp, and matches Audley for speed. So Audley knows that he's got to be on the game 3 minutes of each round. He knows he can't afford to switch off, because if he switches off, he'll get caught with a big right. And one thing David Haye doesn't do is let you off the hook. When David catches you, he will keep you there. So, you know, Audley realises this. He knows that. He knows this is his last opportunity, and I'm sure he's trained for 3 minutes of each round.
And we're just seeing he's just unloaded a couple of times there. You would have had a chance just to have a quick look. Were you impressed with the hand speed, with what you saw there on the pads, even though this is a workout that's mainly for the cameras?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, you know, I've seen Audley. I go back a long way with Audley myself. I go back right to the amateur days with Audley. So I've followed his career, you know, not just as a friend, but as a fan as well. So I know exactly the tools that he's got, the attributes that he's got. Audley is tremendously talented, but he's never quite got it right on the fight night, and you know, he promises to deliver this time. From what we've seen so far here today on the pads, and from what I've heard how the training camp's gone, I'm sure we're going to be in for a great fight.
Thank you very much for now, Spencer Oliver there, running the rule over Audley Harrison. He says he looks very impressive in training on the pads there, but the real test comes against David Haye on November the 13th.
And you can see the big fight a week on Saturday. Coverage gets underway from 8 p.m. on Sky Box Office HD. For more information, please call 08442 410 888.